So today evening we are reading from Srimad Bhagavad-Gita as it is chapter number 5. Chapter is entitled Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness. Text number 5. Yat sankhe prapyate sthanam tad yoger api gamyate ekam sankhyam cha yogam cha yah pashyati sa pashyati. Word to word translation. Yat, what? Sankhya, by means of Sankhya philosophy. Prapyate, is achieved. Sthanam, place. Tat, that. Yoge, by devotional service. Api, also. Gamyate, one can attain. Ekam, one. Sankhyam, analytical study. Cha, and. Yogam, action in devotion. Cha, and. Yah, one who. Pashyati, sees. Saha, he. Pashyati, actually sees. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Abhay Charnar Vrinda Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. One who knows that the position reached by means of analytical study can also be attained by devotional service, and who therefore sees analytical study and devotional service to be on the same level, sees things as they are. Purport. The real purpose of philosophical research is to find the ultimate goal of life. Since the ultimate goal of life is self-realization, there is no difference between the conclusions reached by the two processes. By Sankhya philosophical research, one comes to the conclusion that a living entity is not a part and parcel of the material world, but of the Supreme Spirit whole. Consequently, the Spirit soul has nothing to do with the material world. His actions must be in some relation with the Supreme. When he acts in Krishna consciousness, he is actually in his constitutional position. In the first process, Sankhya, one has to become detached from matter, and in devotional yoga process, one has to attach himself to the work of Krishna consciousness. Factually, both processes are the same. Although superficially one process appears to involve detachment and the other process appears to involve attachment. Detachment from matter and attachment to Krishna are one and the same. One who can see this sees things as they are. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namaom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratushe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Yat Sankhye Prapyate Sthanam Tad Yogeraphi Gamyate Ekam Sankyam Cha Yogam Cha Yaha Pashyati Sapashyati. One who knows that the position reached by means of analytical study can also be attained by devotional service, and who therefore sees analytical study and devotional service to be on the same level, sees things as they are. So this beautiful verse spoken by the Supreme Personality himself is in response to the question raised by Arjuna in the beginning of this chapter. The previous chapter, chapter number 4, which deals with the transcendental knowledge. After hearing this transcendental knowledge, a kind of understanding or a perception which Arjuna received or got is of renouncing everything from the world. So he was a kind of inspired to renounce everything, all actions. Of course, this is not ordinary, because ordinarily people don't want to renounce. They want to hang on, they want to go on with all material activities with the hope and plan of becoming happier or to be enjoyed. But surely here Arjuna, being a noble person, great soul, he is inspired to renounce everything. And in the beginning of the 5th chapter, or by the end of the 4th chapter, the last verses. Krishna is urging Arjuna to get up and fight, to do work. So, hearing these equivocal descriptions or the instructions of Krishna, Arjuna is confused. He is thinking, what should I do? The whole chapter Krishna told about knowledge, and you have to have this transcendental knowledge, and with that transcendental knowledge, if you have, then you don't have to work. And here Krishna is again telling work, get up and fight. So Arjuna is confused. What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to renounce the work, or am I supposed to work in devotion? Two of the things. And that's why the first verse, Arjuna is asking this question. Sannyasam karmanam Krishna punaryogam cha shamsasi yachreya etayorekam tanme bruhi sunishchitam. Arjuna said, "Oh Krishna, first of all, you asked me to renounce work, and then again you recommend work with devotion. Now will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial?" So in the first verse, Arjuna is immediately asking Krishna that please clarify my doubt. I am in confusion. Should I renounce or should I work in devotion? And very beautiful purport Prabhupada has given for this. I'll not go to the whole purport, but we'll just come to the end part of the purport. In other words, he thinks that sannyas or renunciation in knowledge should be altogether free from all kinds of activity, because work and renunciation appear to him to be incompatible. So when somebody says renunciation, so one tends to think that renunciation means renunciation of action. So you don't do any action, you just sit and maybe you meditate, or maybe you study scriptures or whatever, but you don't act, no action. That is immature understanding of renunciation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gives us proper understanding of what is renunciation. That renunciation is proper renunciation which is involving service to the Supreme Lord. Because as Prabhupada mentions here, yoga means to connect with the Supreme, to be in direct touch with the Supreme. And that being direct touch with the Supreme is through the process of service. And when we say service, that means action is there. That means activity is there. Otherwise, without activity, how there can be service? So real renunciation is yuktam, to be engaged. That is real renunciation. One's constitution, being engaged in one's constitutional position, being eternal servant of Krishna. That is real renunciation. And that's why Rupa Goswami Pad in Nectar of Devotion, he brings out the concept of Yukta Vairagya. Because generally Mayavadis, impersonalists, they think that renunciation means renunciation of action. You don't do anything, because action means reaction. You are bound by the cycle of action and reaction. So you want to get liberation, then you have to come out of this cycle of birth and death, cycle of action and reaction. So the only way to come out of this cycle of action and reaction is you don't do any action. That's the understanding. And that's why they spend time in studying Vedas always. And using their mind, they speculate different things. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us a practical definition, and Srila Rupa Goswami brings that aspect into our practical life as a Yukta Vairagya. A Vairagya, a renunciation which is Yukta, which is connected with the Supreme. So that is real renunciation. Real renunciation means doing everything connected to Krishna. Simple, very simple. That is renunciation. Means one is renounced. So it doesn't matter whether what kind of external dress one is wearing. A renounced person is not necessarily recognized by his dress. Because Prahlad Maharaj, when he was walking on the road, he saw one Avadut was lying on the corner of the street, and he was totally, all the mud was there, all the dust was there on his body. He was not properly dressed, not properly combed. By looking at him, nobody will give a second look. He will just move his head away and he will walk off. But when Prahlad Maharaj saw that Avadut Brahman in that situation, he did not walk off. He stopped. He looked at him. He went to him and he spoke. So, a renounced person is not necessarily known by his dress, but he is known by his connection with Krishna. That how much he is connected to Krishna. We see contrary example in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees' life. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very upset, very angry with Chota Haridas, Junior Haridas. Why? Because he broke the principle of a person who lives in the renounced order. At the same time, same Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so happy when he got the news that Shivananda Sen's wife is pregnant. And with great happiness, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally gave name to that child. Even before the birth of the child, there was Namkaran Sanskar. How is it that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on one place he is rejecting his devotee who is in the renounced order for intimately talking with a woman, and another place a woman, she is pregnant and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is blessing her. So this goes to show that what is real renunciation is what is appreciated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, accepted by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that renunciation is renunciation of the desire to lord it over material nature. So this desire has to be renounced. Then one is greatest of the sannyasis. Need not be in a dress of a sannyasi, but he is the greatest of the sannyasi, because he has renounced the desire to lord it over material nature. Everyone is bound by actions and reactions. Why? Because they have a desire to lord it over material nature. They exercise that desire to lord it over material nature, and therefore they are doing actions, and because they are doing actions, they are getting reactions, they are suffering, they are bound, they have to take again and again birth. So therefore this desire to give up, this desire has to be given up, the desire to lord it over material nature. And that is only possible when one cultivates positive desires. Very interesting aspect Prabhupada mentions in this purport is factually both processes are the same, although superficially one process appears to involve detachment and the other process appears to involve attachment. So there is a detachment in Sankhya and work with devotion, there is attachment. So detachment and attachment are being spoken of, the concept. And Prabhupada says they are on the same level. Why it is same? Because there is no emptiness in the living entity. There is no vacuum in the living entity. If something is negative, so that negative can be removed only by putting the positive. One very beautiful example is given in this respect, in this aspect. If you have a stone in your hand and you want to pick up a hammer which is kept on the table, your hand is already filled. It has an article, it has a stone. And now you want to pick that hammer from the table. So what are the steps? Logical steps. Logical step is, first step, you keep the stone away, and then with the empty hand pick up the hammer. This is a logical simple step. So Sankhya process is, you are keeping the stone. That is Sankhya. You are emptying. And after emptying, you are trying to pick the hammer. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Krishna consciousness movement is very beautiful. It says, don't just engage your energy in just removing the stone from your hand, but you go by the process by which, when you are having a stone, you make all endeavor to catch the hammer. And slowly, when you start grabbing the hammer, the stone will slip out from your hand. You don't have to put 2 times energy. You just try to grab the hammer. Don't worry about the stone in the hand, or not don't worry, but the process itself is such a process that the stone will go away and the hammer will come in your hand. You'll pick up the hammer. So this is very beautiful. And that's why from the day one, when we come to Krishna consciousness, we are taught do's. We are taught do's along with don'ts. What we should do and what we should not do. This is taught to us, and it's very beautiful. Because we are putting so much of our attention and so much of our energy in understanding what to do, putting our energy in doing positive things, we will see that negative things are going out. I know Prabhupada, it's very interesting. I know when Prabhupada was preaching in the West in the beginning times, we see people were coming from all different backgrounds, all different cultures. Their habits were different, their thought process, their inclinations, everything was different. And when Prabhupada came in touch with them, Prabhupada gave them positive things. He gave them holy name, he gave them chanting, dancing, prasadam, beautiful darshan and discourses. He gave them positive things. And when they started accepting the positive things Prabhupada was giving them, the negative things from their heart was going away. Their appreciation for Prabhupada, their love for Prabhupada was increasing. They were seeing that this person has come just for benefiting us. He is not asking anything from us. He is not asking, okay, my one class is there, so everyone has to give $50, then only he can sit in the class. No, he was not asking for anything. But he was simply, with great love and compassion, he was offering Krishna to them in a way by which they can appreciate and accept. And that was his beauty. Srila Prabhupada's beauty was that he gave them Krishna in such a way that they can accept it. They feel attracted by it. And because of this, they were easily giving up things which are on one level very difficult to give up. Very difficult. In India, if we ask someone that please kindly wear dhoti kurta, this dress attire, and you walk with us on the road, he feels, my God, on the road wearing dhoti kurta, how will I walk? What will people say? They will see me in this dress. They feel so awkward. They feel it's like anti-culture or against culture. See how the mindset has changed of the people in this world, in India especially. That they feel great hesitance in wearing devotional clothes and walking. So Prabhupada, how he has made this process here, Krishna is talking about equality of the two processes, but this, what understanding Krishna is giving here is removing misconception from Arjuna's understanding. Arjuna is not able to comprehend how can there be a action along with renunciation. The renunciation and action, how they can be together, that he is not able to appreciate. Renunciation means no action, it's clear cut. But how can be their renunciation along with the action? So he is not able to understand that there are actions which don't create reactions, and that is devotional actions, devotional service. So any activity done with devotion, any service done with devotion does not carry any reaction. That Arjuna was not able to understand, and therefore there was a confusion. He was thinking that renunciation means no action, but no, that's not true. Renunciation can be completely filled with action. Can be what? Is completely filled with action, because devotional service is such action, such a renunciation. So therefore Rupa Goswami, when he was talking about Yukta Vairagya, he said everything can be utilized in the service of the Lord. Everything. There is no single occupation existing on the planet which cannot be utilized in the service of the Lord. Even people have utilized stealing in the service of the Lord. Even people have utilized killing in the service of the Lord. Of course, we don't have to take these examples as the ideal and follow them, because there are different circumstances and different duties of individuals which may pertain to a particular individual to do certain things under certain circumstances. But on a regular basis, on a usual way, we don't engage such stealing or killing in the service of the Lord, unless one has that particular service. It's not utilized, because this is not dharma, this is against dharma. But the point is, everything can be utilized in the service of the Lord. Everything. That's the beauty of Krishna consciousness, Yukta Vairagya. So this understanding is very, very important, vital. And Krishna consciousness is such a process that it helps one to become detached along with becoming attached to Krishna. Because a devotee practicing devotional service is on a daily basis increases his appreciation and gratitude for Krishna and Krishna's devotees, by which his love will increase. And because of that, he is very easily able to give up things which are not required, things which are hindrance for his devotional service. He can very easily give up that. So therefore, although on one level Sankhya Yoga, which is being talked here, and work in devotion, they are one in the sense the ultimate goal is self-realization or understanding the supreme absolute truth. But still we understand that understanding supreme absolute truth has different levels, different phases, as Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagwaniti, Shabdate. 3 levels are there. So therefore, although Sankhya Yoga helps one to understand that he is not matter, because what is Sankhya? Sankhya, Prabhupada says metaphysics. It talks about physical things, elements. So one studies these 24 elements, material elements. It explains that there are 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether. Then there are 5 senses, the knowledge acquiring senses, and then there are 5 karmendriyas, the working senses, and for every working sense there is a sense object, tanmatra. There are 5. So like this, 5 elements, 5 gyanendriyas, 5 karmendriyas, 5 tanmatras. This is 20. And then 3 subtle elements: mind, intelligence, and ego. To 23. And the sum total of all these elements is the 24th element, that is pradhan. Pradhan is unmanifested material element. It's not manifested. Everything manifests from pradhan. That's the total material energy or substance, we can say. That is pradhan. So these 24 elements are analyzed and studied very scrutinizedly in the Sankhya Yoga process. And this Sankhya Yoga studies what is permanent, what is temporary, what is eternal, what is short lived. So they try to analyze every element. And ultimately, analyzing all this, that process in a short way, we can say it's a process of naiti process. Na iti, na iti, na iti. Not this, not this, not this, not this. That's the process of Sankhya. They are trying to analyze what is that? What is the permanent thing? What is the eternal thing? Earth? No. Water? No. Like that. Now they study, and scriptural studies are also there, which talk about Sankhya philosophy. So it's a very dry process, Sankhya, studying the elements, material elements. It's very dry, and that's why in Bhagavad-Gita we see there is very a kind of small level of study is there, not a very deep study of Sankhya in the Bhagavad-Gita, because it's not meant for those who surrender to Krishna. It's not meant for them, because devotional service is the topmost process of linking oneself towards the Supreme Lord, and it's most easy also, most easy process, devotional service. So therefore Srila Prabhupada, he will slowly bring us to a proper understanding of what is work in devotional service, because by doing this work in devotional service we can be eternally situated in our constitutional position. Prabhupada says, Sankhya philosophical research, one comes to the conclusion that living entity is not part and parcel of the material world but of the Supreme Spirit whole. Consequently, The spirit soul has nothing to do with the material world. His actions must be in some relation with the Supreme. When he acts in Krishna consciousness, he is actually in his constitutional position. So, just by practicing devotional service, Krishna consciousness, one is in his eternal position. So, therefore, the end of devotion, there is nothing like when we do devotional service, we achieve something. Devotional service is the achievement of devotional service. When we are engaged in devotional service, we keep on engaging in devotional service. Of course, there is development of love for Krishna when we engage in devotional service. So we may say, in one way we can say that that's the end product or end result of devotional service. But devotional service produces or results in devotional service only. That's because the depth and the vastness of devotional service grows as we keep engaging in devotional service. It becomes more and more rasa is relished as one goes on performing devotional service. So therefore, when we ask a devotee that, my dear devotee, by being engaged in devotional service, what do you want? He says, no, I don't want, I am happy. I am happy doing devotional service. And if you want, that please bless me, that let me continue doing devotional service. He will ask such a benediction. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was showing his doing his Mahaprakash Leela, Shad Prahari Leela, so he was revealing wonderful darshans to all different devotees. To Murari Gupta, he showed his beautiful form of Lord Ramachandra. To Sridhar Kolavecha, he showed the beautiful darshan of Krishna Balaram and all the cows and everything. He was revealing such wonderful darshans to his devotees, and he was asking devotees, my dear devotee, please ask for benedictions. I want to give, because I have assumed this mood of being the Supreme Lord. So I want to give benedictions to everyone. So ask for benedictions. And devotees were not asking anything. They were saying, oh my dear Lord, we are so happy, we are so grateful to you that you are so merciful, you are revealing such wonderful things. We are very happy but just to please Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were asking for different benedictions. That okay, if you so desire that I should ask for a benediction, please benedict me. Like Sridhar was asking that, my dear Lord, I want that naughty Nimai Pandit, a scholarly Nimai Pandit, to always come and have a verbal debate with me for purchasing this banana leaf and flowers and cups and things like that. I want that benediction, that Lord should be my worshipable Lord and he should come. Such a benediction devotees were asking. They were not asking anything else. They were simply asking that let us keep continuously engaged in devotional service. That's what we want. We don't want anything else. Because devotional service, as Rupa Goswami very wonderfully describes it, as a nectar of devotion. It's filled with nectar. And when one is tasting the nectar, why he wants something else? He will keep want to taste the more and more and more. That's the sweetness of devotional service. So therefore, a devotee, when he is engaged in devotional service, he wants to be engaged in devotional service always, eternally. That's the benediction he wants. He doesn't want any end result, a separate end result of devotional service. He simply wants that, my dear Lord, in your devotees association, let me continue doing devotional service. That's what they ask. They ask for this benediction. So we see that the devotional service itself is, satisfying to the hearts of the devotees, that they don't aspire for anything else. So therefore, devotional service or work in devotional service, as here Prabhupada is talking about, since Krishna is talking about that aspect, yogam, Prabhupada is bringing out this aspect that the devotional service, the end result or the achievement is the topmost achievement as compared to any other processes. They may have some elements of devotional service in them, but they are not incomplete. They have lesser understandings of absolute truth or the complete absolute truth. So that is the difference. Although here Krishna is talking about seeing them on the same level, Sankhya and work in devotion, but they are not on the same level when it comes to the spiritual, achieving the spiritual goals, or having understanding of what is spiritual, or what is the differentiation of the understanding of the absolute truth. Here the same level is talked about in terms of absolute truth, because both will achieve the absolute truth. But absolute truth has different aspects, facets, that is Brahmeti, Paramatmeti and Bhagwaniti. So therefore in that sense there is a differentiation, but otherwise detachment is a part of devotional service, because one who is engaged in devotional service, he naturally becomes detached. And if that's not happening, that means he is not practicing devotional service properly, if detachment is not coming. It has to come. Vairagya is a byproduct of devotional service. Knowledge is a byproduct of devotional service. So just by engaging in devotional service, one has to have Jnana and Vairagya. That will come. Naturally that will come in one's personality. It will manifest. And that way he will progress. The unwanted things will go away, and the wanted things will come more and more into his being, into his personality. And that's the sweetness and beauty of devotional service. So we are in the middle of, today's verse is a kind of a middle verse in the discussion. The whole discussion is yet to conclude, but one aspect is been talked about, and we try to discuss little bit of that aspect which is being talked here for our purification and for understanding how Srila Prabhupada is so wonderful and such an expert, Daksha, that he has given us a process by which all things, whatever is necessary, will happen with us. We don't have to do something extra or special. Just being engaged in devotional service carefully under the direction of Srila Prabhupada, everything will happen in our life. Thank you all very much for your kind attention. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, शील प्रभुपाद की जय, समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि बोल।